Hello, good day students. I'm Miss SHEINA A. SALGARINO and I'll be your guide for today's lesson. But before we proceed for today's main topic, let's have a little bit of an energizer which will be very brief and very easy. Now, for this game called Answer Me, I will be giving you a word and you'll have to guess its meaning through the two choices which I will be showing you later on. And I hope you have fun and good luck. So in every item, you may pause this presentation for you to have more time to think about the right answer. So for our first item, we have the word or words corn husk, where the choices are A, the outside green leaves on a cup of a corn, or B, the corn itself that we consume. So which of these choices do you think is the answer? So you may pause the video now. So the right answer is letter A. For our second item, we have the word bagubo. So what is a bagubo? What are bagubo? So for the first choice, we have these are settled people practicing agriculture as well as hunting and fishing. The second is B, we have the people from Luzon. So what is a bagubo in your own understanding? So pause the video and the right answer is letter A. So now we are down to our last item. So we have the word the calamansi tree. So what do you think is a calamansi tree? Is it A, a fruit-bearing plant that produces calamundin or calamansi? Or is it B, a breadfruit which is known as rimas in Tagalog and kolo in Visayan language? So what do you think is the answer? Pause the video. And the correct answer is letter B. Now, I want you to remember these words, as these words and their meanings, we will be meeting these words later on as we go through for today's discussion, for us to be able to deeply understand the story that we will be tackling today. Now that we are all geared up with these vocabularies, with these new words, let us now start in digging deeper. Let us now start in meeting our main topic, which is the story of The Love in the Cornhusks by Ida Rivera Ford. But of course, let us meet first the writer, the author of the story, which is Ida Rivera Ford. So, who is Ida Rivera Ford? So, Ida Rivera Ford was born in Hulusulu. She was the editor of the first two issues of Sands and Coral, the literary magazine of Silliman University. She taught at the University of Mindanao and Ateneo de Davao University, where she was the Humanities Division chairperson for 11 years. Such a very legendary woman. And now we are going to meet her work. So as mentioned, Ida Rivera Ford worked in Davao City, so which is why this story was written in Region 11, which is the Davao region, formerly called as the Southern Mindanao. It is an administrative region in our country, the Philippines. Now, who are the characters for today's lesson? So first, we have the main protagonist. We have Constantina or Tinang Terol. She is the protagonist and the wife of Ingo. Now we have Amado Gauloran, a tractor driver who is the lover of Tinang. Then we also have Ingo. Ingo is the bagubo, husband of Tinang. Yes, now we have Bagubito. Bagubito is Tinang's baby boy. It is Tinang's child. Bagubito is Tinang's child. Following, we have Senora, the former employee of Tinang. We have Tito, the son of Senora. We have Senor, the father of Tito and the boss of Amado, who is also the husband of Senora. And where did our story take place, or most of it? It happened under the Calamansi tree. So now, let us now start knowing the story, the plot itself. So, the exposition. So, Tinang, carrying her baby, visited her former senora, who is very eager to see her. They chatted about marriage, pregnancy, amado, and baptismal of the baby. So, since Tinang was no longer a servant or a housemaid of Senora, one day she decided to visit her former boss to talk about the baptism of her child, which we talked about, who is Bagubito. Next, so the senora then informed Tinang about her letter in the pharmacy. So the letter, as there was a sudden appearance of a letter, this is where the story started to have to level up. So in this part, so on her way home, Tinang picked up the letter in the pharmacy. So the pharmacy was also the place where the mailman stores the letters that were unreceived by the receivers. So we are now at the climax. This is the peak of the story. So Tinang carrying her letter. Tinang tried to find a place where she can peacefully read her letter. So Tinang found a kamansi tree where she can read the letter and placed her baby in the heap of the corn husk. So Tinang read the letter of Amado about his reason why he left and his love for her. So during their relationship, one day, Amado suddenly just vanished. He left Tinang without any reason, and at this point, at this climax, while Tinang was reading the letter, it contained why he left her. It was because Amado's mother was very sick and he could not bear to leave his sickly mother behind. And now he also confessed that even though years have passed, he is still in love with Tinang and still has this intention of going back to her as long as Tinang says that the feelings is still mutual. So, in the following action, Tinang reminisced her past before marrying Ingo. So, Ingo is her current husband. So, she was trying to remember how her life was when she was still with her past lover. So, at this point, she was very into her reminiscing. She was very into the thought of what could have been, what could have happened if she waited for her past lover and didn't get married. She was trying to think of the possibilities that could have happened if only she waited. She was thinking about this. Then she saw a snake approaching the baby. So she immediately inspected the baby for bites. So while she was very deep in thought, there was a snake which was trying to bite her child, which she placed in the corn husk. So it was like she was so into that thought, she was so into her past that she slightly forgot that she had a child that she placed in a corn husk. So the snake, of course, which could be very venomous, approached her baby. So at this point, she was very shaken. She was very afraid of what could have happened to her child just because she was not herself. She was too in thought of her past. So for the last part, Tinang went home and left the letter in the corn husk. So since she was in a very nervous state, Tinang forgot about the letter and accidentally dropped the letter in the corn husk as her focus was now in the reality. She was in the present where she has a child and which was almost bitten by a snake. She came back to the reality. It was like a slap in the face where she have finally realized that yes, the letter did contain, it was like a chance for her to go back to her past life, but at this point the snake like woke her up to the reality that she can no longer go back to that since she had already made a decision. She had already married someone and she already have a child, and she will soon also be having her second child. So the resolution of the story is that Tinang chose her family, forgetting Amado, like the letter in the corn husk, as she was brought to the reality by the snake, the reality that she is now a mother and a wife to someone else. Now let us go to the literary analysis. So, what was the main conflict of the story? So, the main conflict with the story was man versus himself. So, why? It is because Tinang was torn between choosing her past lover, whom she found out was still in love with her, or choosing to stay with her husband and the father of her child. So, next we have the theme. So, the theme of this story is that one should deeply think about his or her decisions in life in order to prevent regrets in the future, as these decisions might haunt them later and turning back will no longer be possible. In the story, there was a symbolism, if you have noticed. So, the symbolism was the green snake itself. So, the green snake represented the threat of her previous dreams, of her past, which warned that her child would suffer if she chose to be with Amado, if she chose to go back to that past, to go back to her lover. She would sacrifice, she would hurt the one which would be hurt the most is her child. So, the point of view of this story is omniscient. So, every detail of the story, including the information, emotions, feelings, actions, and the past of every character, is available to the narrator. Second, we have the plot device. Yes, we had flashbacks. So, Tina reminisced her days with Amado. And that would be all for today. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have understood our story.